He doesn't.
But the left lane might have a slight advantage, so we'll watch, hopefully, for the left lane, it stays nice and clean, and we see what Catil can do behind Rosenberg. So,
yeah, sky blue day. It's gorgeous out here.
Couldn't be more perfect.
It's 77, a little bit warmer than it was planned to be, but wind just about 4 miles an hour. It's a great day for racing, and the sky is blue for us here at the racetrack. Will it be for Matan Rosenberg or Eric Catil at the end of the weekend? Green flag, and we're underway here at GRIDLIFE Pit Race, Eibach GLTC, race number 2, and watch the points get stacked on as they take their positions at the green flag. Rosenberg, 382, a 20-point deficit to Catil as they start the race, 3 wide into 1. Adam, as we make our way through.
Catil looked left a little bit, but he's in a V8 sandwich, and that might not be a bad spot for him. And way out front right now, Tom had a great start. O'Gorman out front.
Yeah, Tomo taking that advantage into turn 1 and then drops down into turns 3 and 4 with the advantage, and that's going to take away potential points from Rosenberg. Here comes Catil up the inside of Andy Smedegard, and he's not going to want to waste any time getting that spot back.
Great awareness there next to Smedegard was Catil, and they kept it tidy. That's a tight section to go through clean.
Down into 5 there, a little side-by-side Lisa Keys and Robert McDaniels there. John Gatos in the 444, clawing their way up the hill into turn 7 now. Rosenberg closing back in on Tomo. But again, it'll be a couple of points to Rosenberg's advantage if he were to stay in first by the time they get back to the start-finish. But these points are representative of where they cross the start-finish line. Tomo just took away 4 from Rosenberg, so it's actually 378 when they cross the line, if they cross the line like this. And here comes Catil on Rosenberg right behind him into turn 12. And this is the championship battle at stake here. If Catil can get this pass done, it would knock Rosenberg back a spot and potentially start his clawing forward for the championship lead.
Catil's car very strong in this department. Coming down this hill is where we have seen some of the mile-per-hour advantage of the broad power band that comes with the detuned large cubic inch motor like Matan's. You can see the stretch happening right here, but the braking of Catil's car is pretty strong and not bad into 17.
Same for Tomo here, and I think the problem for Catil and for O'Gorman is that these 2 straights come kind of back to back, so Matan can gain a whole chunk of pace, and Tomo's going to stay driver's left for now and try to dissuade Matan. I think we're going to see a braking battle into turn 1. Tom stays driver's left, side by side for the lead. See the points change here with Rosenberg in second place. They'll be 378 now as they cross the line, but Rosenberg led at the line, so it stayed that way, and he's going to lead out of turn 1 as well, but it's going to slow them up, and here comes Catil.
Yeah, 3-car race right now, dropping down into the lower section here. This is a left and a right and a left. It's snug in the back section, so kind of no advantage for either car back here, in my opinion.
Yeah, now side by side for second place, Catil and O'Gorman. Tomo's going to cling to it, but Catil kind of rides the rim here, and Tomo's going to tuck back in line. I think a little bit of teamwork there. I think Tomo would have fought that a bit harder otherwise.
I think some nose-to-tail action from these two would maybe gain them the advantage in the next 3 or 4 turns that they need, and then down the hill, maybe they can keep up with him if they use 2 cars together.
And also, Tom currently has the best lap of the race. That's how we will grid race number 3. So we'll keep that in mind. But this is where Catil's car is going to come alive in comparison to Rosenberg's. It's not going to be a gain probably to the lead this lap, but he could shorten that distance quite a bit. Note that Smedegard and Magnussen run 4th and 5th. Barbado, Hetty, and Morrison, Meadows, and Chin. Not a lot of shuffling at the tail half of the top 10, but the battle focused on the lead right now between these 2 drivers. Falcon and Eibach represented right up front.
Seeing Catil stretch this gap by Tomo, kind of a surprise. Tomo's car might not be as completely dialed as we saw back in the 2022 season. And Catil right on the back of Matan. No change really in that section. Maybe a little bit of a sneak up on top of the Corvette.
Yeah, carried really good speed through that section. This is where Catil's going to lose a little bit, but he can't let that dissuade him. He's got to stay in the areas where his car is going to be advantageous. It's going to be hard for Catil. This is not going to come easy, but he doesn't need to destroy Rosenberg this weekend. He just needs to outfinish him in at least 2 of the 4 races, and that could come at any moment, including race 4. So this is not over till it's over.
We did change the fastest lap setting the next grid from race 2 to race 3 this season. Part of the reason was the thought that if somebody's having mechanicals in the first couple races, they might have an evening to fix the car and be back in the game. And we have seen that happen a few times, but that's going to upset race 3 and race 4. We'll see what happens wins for fastest lap. That'll be one of the stories to tell here.
Yeah, Catil gained 3 points by virtue of that pass on O'Gorman and took the best lap of the race, Adam. So honestly, even if he doesn't win this race, the advantage in race 3 from where he starts could be what he needs. And last lap around for Catil was a 55.889. For Rosenberg, a 55.892. Just 3 1/1000ths of a second between those two.
That's almost unexpectedly close.
Down into turn 7 now. Matan using a lot of curbing there to hopefully try to negate some of that heavy car disadvantage, but Catil is going to reel him in here.
Eric's car is so strong right here. It is so strong.
1/1000ths, Adam.
Unreal, man. Yeah, you can see about a 4 to 5, maybe a 6-car makeup here in Catil's car. It's so strong in the back section, and there's almost an equal change in that straightaway down towards 7 and up towards 1. And it's fun to watch. I imagine for Catil, it's got to be a little frustrating to race. You probably follow his social media and see some of the spicy hands, but this is great racing to watch. These cars are so different, 1,000+ pounds difference.
Yeah, and again, it's just going to be, actually, honestly, Matan didn't gain a ton there. It's right at the end of the straightaway where he gains all that speed.
It's really about 115, 120 on GPS data that we see that you almost can't get rid of that. And this track doesn't have quite the problems with that we would see at like a COTA or Road America, but it is still an issue.
9 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Plenty of race left for Catil. The challenge, as you said, it's frustrating for Catil. Why? Because his advantage comes in a place that's challenging to make passes. But that doesn't mean that he can't do it. He has done it before. And we'll see if he can take it to the juggernaut of the series this year. Matan's won more races than anybody else, but not by much. Catil's average finish is better than Rosenberg's.
And as somebody who's rooting for both of these drivers, I'm really looking for a good show. And I love the change in the two different cars between the different halves of this track. I got to imagine it's almost frustrating probably for Matan in that back section to just see Catil creep up and creep up. He's going to need to not overdrive this car and burn those tires off in the next 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is where Matan has to kind of overdrive is in an area that on this racetrack is going to really burn up those tires. So it's a good, fair point there, but gained a little bit more ground that time leaving turn 1.
This is where we're going to see him probably bring about a 4-car gap down, or a 10-car gap down to a 4-car gap.
Yeah, Catil just slinging that lightweight Honda Civic.
Car's so good through
pounds.
here.
Yeah, this configuration for Catil, he's tried going with more power and heavier weight, but he can't quite get on the very high end of the power spectrum, and he sort of ended up kind of in the middle of the rule set. That wasn't as advantageous for his setup. He really needs to stay light, stay nimble, and that's where he'll find his advantage. This is going to be close. If Matan makes a single mistake, the lead changes, but he just hasn't made a mistake yet.
Same thing with Catil. I mean, he has to be perfect through that back section, which is a difficult place to do that. That track is it's smooth, but you have to be absolutely flawless. He's doing that lap after lap here. He just has to keep it up.
Yeah, Barbado and Hedian having a great battle. That's going to bring Eric Meadows into the fight. Here comes his C5 Corvette to the outside. Oh, tight math here. Turn 16. That was really scary.
The outside right there. That is such a fast section of track, too.
And Meadows, because he dropped that tire, he had to lift there for a bit. Maybe he can get the overlap on the brakes to the inside of Hedian. Not quite.
Yeah, he is starting to show, though, so you never know what he's got next section. He's going to have a straight up. There we are, right there. He's probably going to have about a 1-car advantage here on this front straight, but it's going to be above 100 miles an hour, which probably happens right about now. There we go.
And best lap for Matan Rosenberg, just trying to 155 flat, so that will put him as the best lap of the race. Catil is still second quickest, so the 155.5 for his best lap, so that will be for them on the front row again, should things continue this way. But there's a look at Eric Magnuson, who tried his car in GRIDLIFE GT trim at Autobahn Country Club a couple of, basically last month, and then Andy Smedegar, the driver he's chasing right now in that FA24 swap car.
And seeing some questions in the chat. Yeah, SpeedHive has given us issues here. Internet problems, SpeedHive problems. We do have the live timing app beta testing for GRIDLIFE at the top of the chat if you want to check that out.
Yeah, we'll post it again here for those that are looking. But there's Magnuson and then Barbado and Eric Meadows that are closing in slightly here on this battle for P5.
It's a fun race to watch. Eric Meadows just slowly get through his friends here.
And how about this one?
What a train.
Oh boy, this is
four-cylinder.
And that's Kevin Zhu with a borrowed transmission from DJ Alessandrini.
Better take care of it.
Yeah, and he was 18th in race 1. And we're looking at the battle right now for 16th spot. Zhu Actually, now it's 17th. Zoo's dropped one spot. Sam Scott looking to take advantage of it.
Hanging rear wheels on these front-wheel drive cars is always fun to watch. It just sometimes it's hard to dial that out. But Matan's stretching on the big back straightaway here.
Yeah, down into the braking zone for 17. Catil really leaning on it.
Saw the back end wiggle just a little bit. Tomo by himself, just trying to be perfect here. Same thing with Andy.
Yeah, Tom knows that the trick here is get that fast lap. The one thing that Tomo doesn't have that these front two have, though, is some rewards weight, Adam. So every time you win a race, you're going to pick up a couple percent.
Right. Andy also doesn't have the pressure of this whole championship narrative and, you know, the whole season. Tomo's, I think, probably just here to have a really good time. Big off in turn one.
And was
very
that
unfortunate.
An issue, or did he just slip? Here comes Tomo. He's going to take second spot away. But that is crucial. We said mistakes just can't happen in the racing with how perfect these drivers have been all season. Eric Catil has finished no worse than 5th all year long, which is a crazy achievement. And he'll drop to 3rd, and I think the next thing he'll have to worry about is cleaning that car and make sure that there's no grass in the grill. But this might be, again, he's 2nd as far as best laps are concerned. Adam, there's something to be said about, you know, these first 2 races didn't go your way, but that doesn't make the math impossible. It certainly doesn't with the invert.
No.
I would say that, you know, make sure your car is good to finish this race. Finish this out in 3rd, and then you've got a front row start set up for race 3. Don't throw this away already. There's still plenty of time.
Hopefully, Catil's car is still underneath of him. We're about probably 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes from the white flag, and we'll see his checker pretty soon.
Oh boy, this is a battle down into 5 here. Sam Scott on the outside of Don, and here comes Michael Pagano. And
this has got to be a fun spot to be.
Oh boy, this is getting real spicy out of 6 here. Pagano up on the inside of the FRS there.
Little stronger with the 6-cylinder, and he's starting to figure this track out.
Great little battle here. The S's kind of bring the advantages back and forth. Ooh, little bit of tight squeeze there. And the 727 watching from trail. That's the JZ Motorsports car that gets rented out a little bit. That's Steve Cairo behind the wheel of that car this weekend.
We've seen multiple people run that car in TC and in Club TR, as we said yesterday. James Houghton, Eric De La Riva. And yeah, nothing lifts the rear wheel quite as much as that thing.
And this is the confidence jump here over turn 12 to 14. Look at this battle.
Still a great battle back there. Catil, I think Catil has an issue. He is back further and further and further.
On. And is he going to, I imagine he'll come to pit lane here with just a couple minutes remaining. This is catastrophic for him. You know how much work he puts into this. It is the white flag, though. 1 lap to go. That will potentially stop the bleeding if he can just stay on the road, but I don't know that he is, and he is not pitting in here, Adam.
Not seeing any issue with the car rolling-wise, but at least he does have a solid start for race 3 based on his lap time.
Yeah, but the challenge is now you see the points dropping every position he loses.
That is a problem.
Yeah. And again, we saw, you know, last year the potential for one of the winners of the races to have an issue later in the weekend. It's not inconceivable, especially with the chaos of race 4. So if you're a Catil fan, I wouldn't give up hope yet, but this certainly does make the math a lot harder.
Right now, he's got to fight to stay on the season podium, but if the car's not there, the car's not there.
Yeah, Matan Rosenberg driving another perfect race. About 7/10 off. Last lap around, Tom O'Gorman was I'm just amazed at how consistent Matan's car is. It's only lost 7/10, where everyone else has been a second or two slower than their best laps.
He is, I mean, I'm surprised by that too, especially with the weight per tire of that car. Roughly 20% less power to weight than, or 20 points of rewards weight. Yeah, it's the power to weight is different across this field, and we got to balance these things somehow, but he's somehow keeping that car underneath of him. Yeah,
Eric Magnussen's dealing with Eric Meadows here. This is a great drive forward for the number 3.
Eric just kind of pecking away one car at a time.
Yeah, so for Matan Rosenberg, this was going to be a slugfest between himself and Catil. And again, if Catil can get his issues sorted, this is not over yet. The math is done at the end of the weekend. So don't give it up if you're a Catil fan, but Matan Rosenberg and Team Falcon at Eibach are going back to victory lane again in race 2 by a slightly larger margin this time by virtue of Catil dropping out. Tom O'Gorman will come home in 2nd place. Andy Smedegaard will come home in 3rd. And then Magnussen and Meadows. This is a drag to the line. It will be Magnussen in P4, Meadows P5, and Barbado, Hedian, and the rest of the field coming across the line in 6th place.
What do we have for best laps here so we can predict maybe a race grid for race 3?
It's going to be Rosenberg, and then Catil should be 2nd, and give that O'Gorman 3rd. Smedegaard 4th, Meadows 5th, so that's going to change the math a little bit. But
impressive jump throughout the weekend by Meadows, really getting the car underneath of him with it. I'm saying the car underneath of him way too much. I will work on that.
Yeah.
Not a good announcer like you, Kyle.
All right, checkered flag here on race number 2. Let's have a look at the results for Eibach GLTC race 2 as the field comes back around to finish their laps. And look at the scenes and sights here. Matan Rosenberg gets it done. Tom O'Gorman second. And Andy Smedegaard in third. Magnuson, Meadows, Barbado, Hetty, and Morrison. And Lena Chin with a top 10. Ryan Power right there in the conversation. How about Paul Darling, P11, Blake Korth, Salil Shukla, James Smith, Kevin Zhu, Sam Scott, Michael Pagano in the 18th spot. Down to the tail end of the order, you see Eric Catil down there in 30th place, off at the tail end of the race. So again, no drop races in the finale here at Pitt Race. So, you know, the math definitely falls in favor of Matan needing to have a mistake or a mechanical issue now for the rest of the weekend, but you know,
well, he doesn't want to. Someone else might need him to. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the 40 cars registered roughly and 30 cars in the field. That shows how difficult it is just to do this level of racing. These cars are difficult to keep around. They are needy creatures. Yeah, we saw a little bit of a mechanical attrition suspected with Catil's here. This is so difficult, especially at this level with these drivers. Yeah, just really curious what happened, the story behind why Catil went off in turn 1 there and what happened with the car. Hopefully everything is all right, but part of the reason that we did move that, they're deep off by himself there. Yeah. Part of the reason we moved that fastest lap, resetting a grid to race 3, was for situations like this, not just for this particular one, but we saw it over and over in a pattern where the cars get beat on, they're difficult to keep around and alive, and maybe they have the evening to fix the car. So hopefully we see a resurgence from some others tomorrow.
And if it rains, it changes the math entirely.
100%.
Checkered flag for Matan Rosenberg. Eibach GLTC race 2 complete from Pitt Race.